here it is. Prakrite kriyamani gunai karmani sarvasha. Ahankara vimudhatma. Kartaham iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities which are an actual reality carried out by nature. So within conditioned life, one has freedom, but because one is bewildered, being subject to the rule of Mahamaya, one foolishly thinks himself independent. Ahankara vimudatma karata iti manyate. When the conditioned soul becomes liberated by execution of devotional service, he is given a greater and greater chance to relative relationship with the personality God in different transcendental status, such as Dasya Ras, Sakuras, Vasalya, Madhurya Ras. The Lord's potency, Vishnu Maya, has two features, Avarinaka and Unmukha. When the Lord appeared, his potency came with him and acted in different ways. She acted as Yogamaya with the Yasoda Devaki. In the other intimidating relationships, she acted in different ways at Kamsa, Salva, and other Asuras. By the order of Krishna's potency, Yogamaya came with him and exhibited different activities according to the time and circumstance. Yogamaya had different ways to execute their purposes in the Lord's, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Mahatmanas, the Mahatmas fully surrendered to the Lord's lotus feet, and directed by Yogamanas were the Duratmas, those who are devoid of devotional service, as directed by Mahamaya. So Mahamaya is still great. Maha is the great Maha, the illusory energy, and then there's Yogamaya. So the two potencies of God, right? So basically, all these living entities are, what it's saying is that we're not the doers, okay? So we're not the doers, they understand that part. And this idea of entitlement and being so resentful and so insulted is not normal for anybody. People have to give that up. You can't sit there and be like, somebody insulted me. It's impossible. I mean, we have to, this is our, race or religion, and we have to be fully insulted. And that's the thing, no, because first of all, you're not even the doers. Okay, you're not the doers, and nature is carrying the thing out. So when you surrender to God, then God unfolds himself to you. And then this decisive entitlement to believe that you're the only persons to live, and everybody else needs to be subjugated on all levels just so you can live, is too much entitlement. And that's when you really start stepping in the wrong grounds of life, and you don't understand and comprehend that God is doing things. God is nature. And this is not our duty to let's say subjugate the masses or subjugate people so much that we feel like our entitlement disallows others to exist. Like, you know what I mean? To say somebody shouldn't exist because I'm offended. That is beyond hideous. That is so demonic. And nowhere in the scriptures it says you should do that. No scripture whatsoever. The human life is meant for serving God. And the more you do that, the more you tend towards God, the more you're freed from these vices, the more you're freed from the material energy. And then God gives you these understandings of mystic powers. So people want mystic powers and all these things. You have to do that kind of work. You have to give up your idea of entitlement. Give up your idea of being resentful. People are going to insult you, especially me. Listen, I'm a Brahmin. I'm going to tell you right now. Kings are different. Kings are they have to watch their words. They have to be very careful. But Brahmins they're autonomous. Society, they're not supposed to be chastised, actually. In modern society, there's people that kings want to be autonomous. But really, kings are supposed to watch their words because, first of all, they're representing the people. Unless they're rascals hiding and just pretending to be kings, which is the case nowadays. But real kings are supposed to be one with their word. They're supposed to be very, let's say altruistic, because you're representing if you punish somebody, you can't punish somebody for somebody's crimes. First of all, that's what they're trying to do to me. They want to punish me. They want to hide me. They want me to. I've been getting punished because somebody robbed me. Okay, robbed a Brahmin, which first of all is the most grievous act. Krishna himself, Krishna God, says it in Bhagavatam that first of all you cannot penalize Brahmins, and if they curse you, you cannot find fault in them. You cannot go after them or become angry. Those are the strictures of Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavatam. I'm going to read that one day. Explain that to you too. But this is the idea of that you're so over entitled. The king's position is that you are supposed to be humble. You have power. You have money. You have influence. You're supposed to give donations to the Brahmins. You're supposed to accept chastisement, accept the curses, accept everything from them very humbly, as Lord Pariksha did. Lord Persia went so far to accept the curses that instead of hiding on the seventh day and trying to avoid the curse, which he probably could have done, actually, he accepted it. He listened to Srimad Bhagavatam and said, I'm going to go back home, back to Godhead. He had a lot of faith. Okay, he took it as a boon. Back then, curses were real. Because the energy was still on Earth. It's been dwindled. Adam and Eve is the explanation of that. Everything has been changed to Maya. Because Maya has a stronghold. So if people want to go back to the spiritual realm, first of all, you have to give up the idea that you're the doer. You're not the doer. The more you give up this idea that you're doing something, you're in control, and the less you're going to be in control. First of all, you have to surrender to God. Say, God, you're in control. You're making everything happen. You're making the water happen. You're making the sun happen. The plants grow. Everything's happening because of you. It's not because of me. I am here. I'm under your mercy. Please be kind to me. Show me how to be kind to other living entities. There's nothing else that I should be doing. That's how you have to proceed, honestly. And then with that kind of existence, you can please God, summons him, right? And then by doing that, you get rid of your entitlements. I'm entitled, to this. I'm entitled to that. My entitlements are so much, they say, that other people, they can't even have law and justice. That's what people think in this world. They think so highly of their entitlements and of their heritage that they'll say, oh, those minorities, they don't accept, anything. They don't deserve anything from me. Yeah, I stole from them, but they don't deserve anything from me because I'm entitled. That's what people do with power these days, and it's a sick thing. It's a sickness. Trust me, you're sick inside if you think like that. Trust me, you're burning inside. You have to stop thinking like that. That's not the way the world is. Okay, you may think that somebody, but you have to be fair with them. If you feel like somebody has done something, you have to actually weigh it out. And that's why we have a due process. That's why people sit down and they try to weigh it out. Their due process is not always the best. Sometimes and this is a system where they like to throw the person in jail and just forget about them. Like it's too selfish. The system itself is selfish. So a lot of things have to be changed. We need a system that educates people and gives them, work that helps them to understand what they did, their crimes of dispassion, and helps them. So, to become better persons, so they don't, become a remit, a person that goes back. And then, so this idea, first, get rid of the entitlements. Okay, don't say you're entitled to anything. You're entitled to follow the law. You're entitled to treat people kindly. And you're entitled to pay people that you owe. You're entitled to give, homage to your ancestors and the Lord and all the divine beings that allow you to exist. That's your entitlement. But you're not entitled to say somebody doesn't deserve to live because they called me out on my crimes. They called me out on my dispassion towards them. That's not fair. Or somebody's not allowed to their privacy because I robbed them and I'm scared that they might pray to God. That is craziness. That's not an entitlement either. You can't say I'm entitled to that. That's not how it works. And you can't say I'm entitled to be so resenting and keep things in my heart that people said about me, even though I said things about them, even though people from my heritage said things about their heritage. Still, I can resent them. You're not entitled to that one either. That's a crazy entitlement, first of all. That's lunacy. To think that other people should stand by, let you insult their religion, insult them on a repetitive basis, start the insulting too. The other person is just minding their business, and then they come in and start insulting you, and then think that because you insulted them back, they have an entitlement to go and harass you and stalk you and vilify you and harm your existence. This happens in this world right now. There's actually, the FBI and other people have done this to people, okay? Parts of them, not exactly just them, but parts of them. Also other intel groups. They have rogued out, chased people down because they said things on the internet. That's not what the intel badge is for. People are scared. First of all, you have people saying that we're stealing your children and eating them. Okay, that's what people are saying on the other side. So you have then the other side, the Christians or whatever, they're saying those guys should die. What the hell is this? So this is not even, we're not bothering anybody. You understand something? The victim side, when people are getting victimized, they're not bothering anybody. They just want a normal life. They want to go to work, come home, have a nice little family, worship God, go on with their life. But then they have a group that's saying, we're eating your children. We hate you. We want you to go broke. We want you to all die. Why? Because we're miserable and we don't like happy people. We don't like good-looking people around us all the time. That's it, okay? And we don't like people with different faiths. There's people out there like that. They're not only in one group, they're in different groups as well. But when a group like that gets amassed and forms a lot of wealth and starts to control governments and starts to, push everybody out because they have a stronger desire to try to hold people down, then we have a serious problem. Then the entitlements have now become, let's say, confinements, let's say bombardments, degradation of society. So we can't have that. We have to revert to what the actual rules are, go back to due process, and the entitlement should be, what does people really owe? Besides somebody's resent, besides somebody's hurt, what did God really say to do? Repay people. Respect the holy class, right? It would be the rabbis, the priests, the Brahmins, the imams, the people that have dedicated their lives to God. Respect them. Don't bother them. Don't, hurt them. Krishna's saying this directly. Don't hurt my Brahmins. Don't do it. You'll have personal problems with me. I will punish you severely in the next life. So don't follow these people doing these things. People that want to resent, don't follow them. It actually says in Torah, lo sikam. He says you cannot have revenge. You cannot have grudges. You can't. It's not part of the religion. You can't be a godly person and think you're entitled to have so much resent. Resent is a product of envy. It's a product of anger and lust. To take it out, and then you end up taking it out on the wrong person, a person that helped you, that tried to give you a chance in life to be a part of a genius idea, and you rob them of it, and then you want to pretend like you can't get over it because they called you out, and it's just too much for you. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Okay, you're not a perfected being, first of all. Second of all, you committed the crime. You're the people that stole. And you know who you are out there. You stole from me music, you stole from me ideas, you stole from me my life. A lot of my life is stolen right now. And it's unfair because you manipulated. You said, I don't know what you said in your mind, the guy looks too good. He's gonna have women. I mean, come on, dude. People had, girlfriends. I was pushing them away in my teenager years. That's not an excuse. Somebody gets married, that's their misery. That's a misery thing. Love and marriage, it's not something that's a natural thing in life anyway, too. It's not like people need people around them when they're, living in their life. That shouldn't deprive people of that. Okay? That's not fair. All right? So you can't try to overthrow people because they're a different religion either. That's not the treaties of this country. And that's not the purpose of any intel governments. They're not supposed to be trying to overthrow the people here, especially the people that helped to keep this country going. Veteran families like myself. They should never be overthrown by the people here. Then you would be a serious traitor. Serious traitor. And that's the problems in this country. That's why it's so divided. That's why it's dysfunctional. That's why you have groups always commenting, what is going on? Why is this such a deterioration? This is a nightmare. Because we have people that are just not thinking right. They're not following the rules. They're protecting crimes just because it's on their side. What is your side? Unholy? Criminal? Dispassion? Come on, that's not a side. That's a bandit. That's a bandit group of just destruction. So please give this up. Go to the right side of life. Go to the real side. And do the right thing from now on. You can do it. You're a human being. You can overcome and do the right things and gain control of yourself. You don't have to be on the bad side. Anybody's telling you to do, they're wrong. Okay? Stick to good always. Stick to truth always. You will prosper. You will attain happiness. If you got money or other things, but you don't have happiness, it's because you're not doing that. Don't be fearful. God will protect you. Just go to the right side and do the right thing. Trust me.